So most of us know that the brain is important, but in my experience I have found that few people have been taught about the way that the brain controls the body through a system called the autonomic nervous system. See, this system has two very important divisions. The first is what's called the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the system you may have heard of called the rest and digest division. The other is what's called the sympathetic nervous system, commonly known as the fight or flight division. These two systems are designed to work together in balance to maintain a state of optimal health inside of our body, along with optimal development and function throughout our entire lives. I'd like to dig a little deeper though. The balance between these two systems is more important than what we know. The parasympathetic nervous system lives in a part of our brain called the prefrontal cortex, located up here. This area controls what is known as executive function. The cortex controls sensory processing, motor planning, speech development, memory processing, recognition of social norms, focus and attention, emotional regulation, the immune response, and so much more. The brain connects to all of our vital organs through a nerve that's called the vagus nerve. It comes off the brainstem right about here and extends down into all of our internal organs. The vagus nerve controls things like draining our ears, swallowing, slows the heart rate, controls respiration rate, controls all aspects of digestion, controls our kidneys, small intestines, pancreas, liver. You get the picture. Here's the interesting thing. Only 15% of its function is outward control. 85% is monitoring what's happening inside of our bodies at all times. Motion from the spine via nerves and the muscles on the spine regulate how the messages from the nerve reach the brain. When all levels of the spine are moving as they should, the message comes in loud and clear, and the brain can coordinate everything necessary to keep us healthy. If spinal vertebrae misalign and stop moving, known as a subluxation, then this creates interference between the brain and the body and the vagus nerve as well as other critical nerves. Even worse is the loss of motion activates the stress sympathetic response. Areas at the top of the spine right here, near the brainstem, can activate a significantly larger stress response in the brain. Think about when you have a headache. How do you feel? Are your thoughts clear? Are you more short-tempered? Have you ever felt nauseous from having a headache? Was it a stomach problem or a nerve communication problem? Of course, it's a nerve problem. Now, imagine that most of our children experience stress and neurological injury to this area as a part of the birth process. How could that affect their development, immune system, and behavior? I'd like you to remember a very important phrase. You can't be in growth and protection at the same time. Why does this phrase matter? Because when the normal balance is disrupted by chemical or physical or emotional stressors, the brain can get stuck in sympathetic stress mode. Here's a really important fact. Nerves that wire together fire together. This means that whatever our brain does often, it gets really efficient at. So if yours or your child's brain is exposed to frequent stress, then their brain gets very efficient at being stressed. But what does it actually look like? In kids, it can be issues with anxiety, anger, outbursts and meltdowns, sleep issues, digestive issues, constipation, constant immune challenges like ear infections, recurrent strep, and so on. The vast majority of the kids and adults that we care for have developed this imbalance. It's known as a dysautonomia, an imbalance in the brain's ability to properly respond and adapt to stress. The brain, spine, and nervous system are affected by each of the three stressors: the physical, the chemical, and the emotional stressors. Here's the most important thing that I will ever teach you. Nothing has the power to improve the function of the brain and the autonomic nervous system more than an adjustment does, because it gets to the cause of the stress and imbalance, not just the symptoms. Research by neuroscientist Dr. Heidi Horvig from New Zealand proved in her research that the area of the brain directly affected by the adjustment is the prefrontal cortex, which we mentioned earlier. This means that the parasympathetic nervous system is activated each time we are adjusted, and because nerves that wire together fire together, the brain can and will refire and rebalance how we respond to stress over time during your care plan. The net result is better health, better function, and a better quality of life for you and for your family.